President Trump land in
These are
Israel?
the visuals of the Israeli President Isaac Herzog and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu standing there at the Ben Gurion Airport, ready to welcome and give a red carpet welcome to U.S. President Donald Trump. And of course, Donald Trump arriving while speaking to reporters, he had earlier said that this is the beginning of what he called a very special visit. What we see is now Jared Kushner, son-in-law of Donald Trump, and Steve Witkoff right there also standing at the Ben Gurion Airport, ready to welcome Donald Trump. And these are the visuals on the other side from Tel Aviv, a crowd of people who are waiting for the Israeli hostages to arrive, cheering at the slightest information of the hostages. On the other side is from the Ben Gurion Airport of Netanyahu and Isaac Herzog, ready to welcome U.S. President Donald Trump on his very special visit. Just that is West Asian, where Steve Witkoff, along with son-in-law of Donald Trump, Jared Kushner, that we saw a number of key figures are there to greet him, including Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and his wife, Sarah, U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff, advisor Jared Kushner and his wife, as well as Trump's daughter, Ivanka Trump. Now, what we know is U.S. President Donald Trump has been looking over and live streaming of the release of the hostages, of Israeli hostages that have taken place, and so far 7 is the number that we know out of 20 that have been released so far. And that is in exchange of the Palestinian prisoners. Earlier, the Israeli military had confirmed that the 7 returning hostages crossed the border into the state of Israel. And we're going to have all the details coming in minute by minute. And there you see the red carpet being laid down for the U.S. president and the key figures standing there to greet him.
המסדר יעבור לדום, מסדר, דום, מסדר יעבור לנוח, מות נוח.
Earlier in Tel Aviv that you see right there, people were gathered and were cheering as soon as the names of the Israeli hostages were announced as being with the Red Cross. What we know is the Israeli military has confirmed that the 7 returning hostages have crossed the border. On the other side, in Gaza, people have been waiting for the arrival of released Palestinian prisoners. What we see right now is Israelis awaiting at the hostages square for the Israeli hostages. On the other side, key figures, Netanyahu and Isaac Herzog, walking towards the red carpet, where we will be seeing Donald Trump landing on a special visit to West Asia. What we know so far is that 7 hostages have been released. Earlier, Israel had released the name of the 7 hostages who have been released as well. And according to the Israeli Foreign Ministry, they have named the 7 hostages released. These are the visuals from Israel, one from Ben Gurion Airport and the other from the Hostages Square. Now hundreds had erupted in cheers and tears and even sang songs at the Tel Aviv's Hostage Square as the news broke that the first hostages had been released from 2 years of captivity in Gaza. Many had come as the sun rose, carrying pictures of the hostages, waving Israeli flags and bearing yellow ribbon, a symbol of movement calling for the hostages' release. Now, earlier, Netanyahu had also sent a personal message to the returning Israeli hostages, and the note read, "On behalf of all the people of Israel, welcome back. We waited for you. We embrace you, Sarah and Benjamin Netanyahu." Even Donald Trump has been receiving cheers and greeting in Tel Aviv at the Hostages Square, where emotional scenes were seen as the Israelis there said, "Thank you, Trump, for finally getting the hostages back home." And that is Donald Trump. First images of Donald Trump saying thank you and raising his fist. And we see finally Donald Trump arriving at the Ben Gurion Airport. Of course, he is there with key officials that are traveling with him. Isaac Herzog welcoming him with a handshake. Next up, of course, we have Isaac Herzog's wife there welcoming as well. So we can see is definitely a thank from these key figures. Netanyahu, of course, as well, in a huddle with Donald Trump, receiving thanks from the Israeli leaders there. And before heading, of course, we had Donald Trump saying the war is over and called this as a very special visit. And comes after the first phase has already beginning as the hostages are released. Now, Donald Trump has also arrived with his key officials that are traveling with him, of course, including Secretary of State Marco Rubio, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, and CIA Chief John Ratcliffe. What we know is that we also have Ivanka Trump, Donald Trump's daughter, son-in-law Jared Kushner, and West Asia envoy Steve Witkoff right there, also waiting to greet him. Now, right after Donald Trump will, of course, be going to the Knesset and will be giving a speech. What we know earlier is he is also to receive the highest honor from the Israeli president. Now, Trump had earlier said a board of peace would quickly be set up for Gaza, and we have seen the first phase in effect of course, in Gaza, with 7 Israeli hostages already being released. The names have also been released by Israeli Defense Forces. What we know right now is that 7 of them have been released. And this is, of course, an exchange of the Palestinian prisoners and detainees from the Israeli side. And now we also have Donald Trump has already arrived and is meeting the leaders at the Ben Gurion Airport.